10th anniversary on a low-key, President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday led Vice President Kashim Shettima and other high-profile Nigerians and guests to mark the day in Aso Rock. The Independence Anniversary climaxed with a military parade held at the forecourt of the Presidential Villa Abuja amidst pomp and pageantry. Standing as the anniversary guest of honor, President Tinubu was received on arrival at 10 a.m. by pipers who ushered him into the arena after an inspection of the courtyard mounted by troops of the Guards Brigade. The president earlier in the morning made national broadcast where he intimated Nigerians with plans of his administration aimed at ameliorating the hardship in the country. The president thereafter proceeded to climb the saluting dais where he took the national salute as special guest of honor to signify the commencement of the event proper. The 64th anniversary witnessed the presidential change of guard. This paved way for Nigerian Armed Forces color patrol and displays to symbolize Nigeria's national and military pride. The segment was followed by a Guard Brigade silent drill platoon which hauled guests and other spectators, including cabinet members, presidential aides as well as members of the diplomatic corps who had thronged with the venue to witness the festivities. Still on the Independence Day, officers of the Nigerian Police Force dispersed #Fearless in October protesters gathered at the Utako Market in Abuja. The protesters had converged at the market as early as 7 a.m. on Tuesday to protest the hardship faced by Nigerians occasioned by government policies and programs. However, police officers promptly dispersed the protesters at about 8:54 a.m. The October 1st protest, tagged Fearless in October, is a continuation of End Bad Governance protest held between August 1 and 10 in response to the economic hardship witnessed by many Nigerians. The protesters, as early as 7 a.m., gathered at the busy Utako Market in the Tapo area of the FCT, where the demonstration was ongoing. The Director of Mobilization Take It Back movement, Damilare Adeola, lamented the hardship in the country, which he attributed to the policies of the federal government. Now, to talk about Nigeria's Independence Day, we are joined by Emeritus Professor of Political Science, Professor Bumi Ayoade, who is joining us live from Ibadan. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News.
Good evening.
Thank you. All right, first, happy Independence Day. And as Nigeria marks 64 years anniversary of self-rule today, how do you perceive this day?
Well, it's we still have to be happy about being independent, but we have to look at whether we are really governing ourselves independently. Things have not been too good, particularly in terms of the economy, in terms of unemployment, in terms of inflation. But independence is still good. It's preferable to any other thing. And I hope that we will get hold of better governance soon.
Okay, all right. And with all these challenges, some of which you have listed that Nigeria is facing, which area do you think we need to work on the most?
The most important thing that touches everybody is first the economy. The economy is in shambles for now. And it appears that, to be honest, it did not start just today. It has been there, and we did not talk about it for quite a while. And now that it has reached perhaps what one can call the intolerable area, we have to look at it and see what we can do. And I think that the government has to look more seriously at how to reverse this terrible trend that we have.
Okay, all right. So today being the Independence Day, we had youth that were protesting majorly in Lagos and Abuja, demanding an end to bad governance. Do you think this is the step in the right direction to holding our leaders accountable?
Well, definitely, the leaders have to carry all the blame. This is the nature of governance. Even at the local level, when everything goes bad, it's the leaders that take responsibility. And they take responsibility particularly because they campaigned that they are capable of handling situation. It will be too late for any government in power to claim that they did not know that things are this bad. It is their responsibility to have studied the situation and to be sure that they have what it takes to put it right. But having said that, it is also important for citizens to be aware of the fact that the problem, which did not start in a day, it's a process. And therefore, healing the problem, solving the problem is also a process. And that means that it has a time, it has a period within which it has to be corrected. But it's not, things cannot be endured for too long. And therefore, government must look at what is to be done quickly and in a time that is bearable for the people.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir. But this last question quickly before I let you go. 64 years after independence, and we are still not getting a lot of things right. When compared to the colonial rule, which would you say is better off? Is Nigeria really deserving that independence if we've not been getting things right so far?
Well, colonial rule is, I think we would deceive ourselves to say that colonial rule has ended. It has not ended because colonial rule operates within a global context, and the global context is still not favorable to the independence of Nigeria. For example, we find that there is a lot of interdependency of nations, and we are not in a position to negotiate properly. We don't have the proper negotiating position for most of the things that happen at the global level. And so we are free, but in bondage to the superpowers, in bondage to the world to the part of the world that controls the economy. We are in bondage in terms of being able to do things for ourselves. We are dependent in terms of imports that even for our exports, we're also dependent. Although those are our products, but most of the time we find that we do not have the power to determine the price of those things. So it is important that we must continue to keep in mind that Nigeria is a colonized, independent country, and that we have to take cognizance of that in dealing with some of the issues.
Okay, all right. We thank you so much for sharing with us from the wealth of your experiences. Thank you so much for being part of Galaxy TV News.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And that's Emeritus Professor of Political Science, Professor Bumi Ayoade. And now, still moving on from stories from the Independence Day, Nigerians, mainly youth, took over the popular Ikeja on the bridge in protest of anger. The protest #EndBadGovernance in Nigeria is a continuation of a similar one that took place in August and which lasted for 10 days. Galaxy News correspondent Levy Joseph tells us more in this report.
The protesters, in their large numbers, walked from Ikeja through Oregun down to Gani Fayami Freedom Park in Ojota, singing different songs condemning socio-economic problems facing the people in Nigeria. They called for immediate reversal of fuel price, turn of old electricity tariff, and regulations of prices of food in the Nigerian markets.
If they want to imprison all of us, let us go there. The prison shall be filled to the brim with hungry Nigerians. We have lost our fear of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me repeat it. We are determined to march all over different areas of Lagos State.
Government of Tinubu should immediately end the hardship on our people by reversing all the anti-people policies he has imposed since May when he came to office, including the removal of subsidy on fuel, the terrible hike in fuel and price in our commodities. We are also insisting that the constitution imposed on us by the military regime, that is the basis on this unjust inequality. We are also demanding an immediate abandonment of that fraudulent document.
The protesters unequivocally claimed that the current economic situation in the country is unbearable and the people are suffering. They said it's totally wrong for government to sit back and watch the people suffer while the political class enjoy unrestrained opulence.
Nigerian people are here today to say that the removal of fuel subsidy has not benefited them, and they need the government to work to consider its national strategies, its political strategy to alleviate economic woes in the country. Nigerians are here today to say that the pattern of the government to criminalize dissent, to criminalize freedom of speech is not fair.
We are promised that in our lifetime we will not tolerate slavery. We are promised that in our lifetime we will not continue to cohabit with corrupt people. And that in our lifetime we shall not be sentenced to minimum wage when some people are ending maximum wage. And that in our lifetime we cannot be governed by the same people that our parents told us not to be like when we were growing up.
From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
And still on the protest, the proposed Fearless in October protest failed to hold across 3 senatorial districts of Ogun State as people were seen going about their normal businesses. Our correspondent observed heavy presence of security operatives who were all well prepared for any unforeseen circumstances across major cities of the state as the planned nationwide protest begins in part of the country. Speaking with journalists, the State Commissioner of Police Abiodun Alamutu said the situation across the state remained calm, stressing that there was no single record of protest across the state. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comment, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to other stories. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has informed the House of Representatives that money laundering charges against Bobrisky were dropped due to his confessional statements regarding naira abuse during court proceedings. The EFCC denied any allegation of bribery against its officials, stating that the decision to amend charge falls within its legal authority. Biliki Sawari, representing the EFCC at the investigation into the bribery allegations involving officers of the EFCC and personnel of the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS), emphasized that there was no financial inducement to any member of the Commission. She noted all actions taken were in line with the core values of the Commission. The chairman of the Joint Committee, Jinjiang Wubusube, stated that during the next session, the individual who recorded the controversial audio that sparked the bribery allegation must appear before the committee for further clarifications.
Notwithstanding the unequivocal confession of the ex-convict, convicting the essential ingredients in counts 5 and 6 of the charge, and having indicated willingness to plead guilty to counts 1 and 4 of the charge, which has to do with mutilating of the naira currency, the prosecution in total fidelity and conduct its oath and strict adherence to professional practice of not only disclosing exculpatory documents to defense, having received a report of investigation activities from SCUMO, which showed that Bob Express is not a designated non-financial business and profession, decided to drop counts 5 and 6 of the charge in the interest of justice.
We have powers to scrutinize those accounts, and you can be sure, like I said earlier, that we are going to trace this the movement of these monies to the final destination. That is one. Secondly, there is a person who actually recorded that video, that audio. In our next sitting, should be here.
And still with the Anti-Graft Agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday, September 30, 2024, arraigned former Governor of Taraba State, Darius Dixon Ishaku, and former Permanent Secretary Bureau for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in the state, Bello Yero, before Justice S.C. Origi of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Meitama, Abuja, for fraud. Both are being prosecuted on a 15-count charge bordering on criminal breach of trust, conspiracy and conversion of public funds in the state to the tune of 27 billion naira. They pleaded not guilty when all the charges were read to them, prompting prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobson to ask the court for a trial date as well as accelerated hearing on the matter. Paul Harris Umbobole San and Oluwadamilola Kayode, counsel to Ishaku and Yero, respectively made oral bail application, which Jacobs opposed, insisting on formal applications. Justice Origi adjourned the matter to Thursday, October 3rd for hearing and bail application and ordered that the defendants be remanded in EFCC's custody. Both defendants were arrested on September 27, 2024. Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. Israeli airstrikes has killed at least 31 people in Gaza. The Israeli military said that it carried out a strike targeting a Hamas command center. However, it made no immediate comment on 2 strikes on 2 houses Palestinian health officials said killed at least 13 people, including women and children in Nuseirat. The other strike on a school sheltering displaced Palestinian families in a Tufar neighborhood of Gaza City killed at least 7 people, medics said. The Israeli military said in a statement that airstrike targeted Hamas fighters operating from a command center embedded in a compound that had previously served as Shujaiya School. It accused Hamas of using the civilian population and facilities for military purposes, which Hamas denies.
And that's it for now, but do join us at 9 p.m. for our prime time news. My name is Iribami Salako. See you then.
Would you like to enjoy good humor and real cracking jokes from the best and funniest upcoming Nigerian stand-up comedians? Why don't you get entertained, smile, and laugh till you forget your